In 1988, there was a massive earthquake that hit the second largest city in Armenia. Within 4 minutes, 30,000 people lost their lives, and the town was left as a pile of rubble. Immediately, a number of parents ran to a school where their children had been in class to see what had happened, and they found that the school no longer was there. So they began to weep and mourn, and then a father came up, and he began to take a brick off the pile, and then another brick. A number of parents joined him, but after a few hours, they realized this was futile, and most of the parents left. But the one father continued on through the night into the next day. For 38 hours, he continued by himself. With his hands bloody and beaten, he took off one final stone, threw it on the ground, looked down, and saw the face of his son and his friends. And his son looked up and said, "Dad, I knew you would come." This is how much our Father, our Heavenly Father, loves us. And God's love is the focus of our readings today. In our second reading, St. John writes that we should love one another because God is love, and whoever does not love does not know God. Our gospel reading is an excerpt from the Last Supper discourse. So these were the last lessons that Jesus shared with his disciples, and I think there's a certain level of importance that comes with those final lessons. This was something he wanted them to realize. As the Father loves me, so I love you. This is my commandment: love one another as I have loved you. No one has greater love than to lay down one's life for another. Jesus was about to die for his friends, and he is asking his disciples, and he is asking us to do the same for others. And almost all of the disciples followed Jesus' command and laid down their lives for the church. Jesus also reminded them that you are my friends if you do what I command. We are to obey. And the outcome of the obedience to his commandments is joy and peace. So many people today are turning away from Jesus' commandments, thinking they know how to make themselves happy. Doing whatever they think is best will lead to joy, but it usually leads to frustration, depression, and loneliness. Jesus tells us that faith is important, but it is not enough. We are to obey his commandments and to love others in a very radical way, to sacrifice and to suffer for those we care about. C.S. Lewis wrote a book about the 4 different types of love mentioned in the Bible. So there's 4 different Greek words that are translated in the same one English word, which is love. The first is filial love. This is the love of friendship or brotherly love. The second is eros love, which is romantic or sexual love. Storge love is the love of family, but agape love is the greatest and most perfect love. Agape is the sacrificial love, when we are willing to suffer for others, even when we expect nothing in return. When I think of agape love, I often think of a husband and a wife, or a parent and a child. Today is Mother's Day, and so I'd like to reflect for a couple minutes about moms. Every one of us is unique. The billions of people that have born in this history, no two have been alike. Yet 100% of us were born to a mother who labored and sacrificed to bring us into this world. The 4th commandment is to honor your father and mother. There are many Bible passages which clarify what it means to honor. I'd like to focus on 3: obey, forgive, and appreciate. First, we honor our mothers by obeying. Largely when we're children, those can often be the most enjoyable years where there's mutual admiration between mother and child. Children are totally dependent on their mothers, and they want to please them. A child lights up when they hear their mother's voice, and a mother lights up when she hears her child. Second way we can honor mothers is by forgiving them. When we're teenagers, we grow independent, we make our own decisions, and we realize that our parents are not perfect. All parents are flawed, and we're all in need of forgiveness. Third way we honor our mothers is by appreciating them and all that they do. I never fully appreciated all the sacrifices my mom made until we had children ourselves. And I remember having dinner with her once and asking, at what point did you stop worrying about me? When I was about 40 years old, and she said, Dan, I'll never stop worrying about you. It's just part of the DNA. When you're a mom, you're going to sacrifice and worry. So we need to appreciate all that our moms do. And as our moms grow old, we can show appreciation by making sure that they are taken care of. One of Jesus' last acts as he was carrying his cross was to ask his disciple John to take care of his mother, Mary. Now, Mary is the greatest example of motherhood. She became a mother in circumstances that she didn't fully expect, yet she fully dedicated her life to her son. She enjoyed the happy moments when he was beloved, and she suffered the pain and heartache of watching him be crucified. She was the only one with Jesus on the first day of his life and the last day of his life. So today we celebrate mothers, grandmothers, stepmothers, godmothers, expectant mothers, and all women who care for others. We are grateful for all the women who have shaped our lives in so many positive ways. We are thankful for the countless sacrifices they have made and the relatively small amount of credit they have received. I remember talking to my grandfather when he was 105, and he said, Danny, I realize now that women are so much smarter than men. They just know how to live and they know how to love. So I know just like Jesus wanted to pass on some wisdom at the end of his days, my grandpa packed a lot of wisdom in that as well. And I'm hopeful it doesn't take all of us 105 years to come to that realization. So if you don't mind, I'd like to ask all the moms, grandmothers, godmothers to stand and be recognized. We thank God for all the women who demonstrate God's sacrificial love here on earth. So thank you to my mom in Mount Prospect, and to all the moms here. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the life. Thank you for the faith. Happy Mother's Day to all, and may God bless each and every one of you today and every day of your life.